this moment, I'm joining you online from Defining Movement Dance. I run a community-led not-for-profit organization, which is, as I mentioned, partially funded by the City of Enrichment Fund. I was here earlier today watching the delegations with fellow artists. My neighbors have expressed their outrage concerning the proposed increase to the already astronomically high Hamilton Police Services budget. I've prepared notes that explain why I'm requesting and demanding that you do not allocate these funds to the police. However, I would like to go to my personal story. In 1952, my family arrived in Port Dover from war-torn Europe and settled in Hamilton. At 13 years old, my mother was brutally raped in Hamilton by a friend's father. The police investigating the rape convinced my mother's family to accept a bribe from the rapist, the Hamilton police. My mother was never allowed to talk about it again and never received healing or justice. This is something I did not learn about until she was so triggered by watching CNN and the Harvey Weinstein case. Let me tell you that the impacts of being raised by a woman who has experienced such trauma is criminal. To live in a life of fear and being in a life where you have to continually be less than your whole self. I want you, Madam Mayor and councillors, and my councillor Narinder Nan, to consider the ripple effects that you are sending into the future by allowing the police in Hamilton to have access to such unprecedented funds. As my neighbors who've previously spoken to you have offered brilliant ways how these funds could be yet better used, I would like to highlight Director of Government Relations and Community Engagement Initiatives, Morgan Stahl's proposal to increase funding to the City Enrichment Fund by a mere $487,000. For those who are here today that may not be aware, the City Enrichment Fund allows funds to Hamiltonians to run their community arts programs and community-led initiatives. I apologize for the music in the background. As I mentioned, I'm in process of teaching dance at Defining Movement Dance, and my students are waiting outside the door.
We can't hear the music.
I'd like to add that the last budget increase to the City Enrichment Fund was approved in 2019 to bring the total budget to just over $6 million. In 2022, the request from applicants totaled over $10 million. Let me do the math. This is $4 million of valuable community-led initiatives that are not taking place because you choose to continue to overfund violence while underfunding sectors and organizations crucial to building healthy and supported communities. Therefore, today, I demand that the increase to the City Enrichment Fund be approved for the 2023 budget. The eligible request to the CEF constantly surpasses the allocated approved budget on an annual basis. By investing in our communities better, we can address the root causes of most criminalized acts, which are often need-based and consequences of poverty. Vote against the increase for the Hamilton Police Services budget, reallocate the funds, the surplus from their budget to community-led initiatives, approve funding increase to the City Enrichment Fund. A better Hamilton is possible, and it is in your hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid. Are there any questions for our delegate? Seeing not, thank you, Sid, for having the courage to share that life experience with us. We'll move on to our next delegate, please. Item 6.25 is Laura Katz, respecting the 2023 Hamilton Police budget. It is a pre-recorded video. Do we have that working, Madam Clerk?
I'm just wondering if it might be better to do all of them at the end and then we can just make
I'd be happy to do that. So
Thank
if
you.
you can just make that list, and I'll
Yes,
just
we
keep
will.
moving on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item 6.26, Montana Millette, respecting the 2023 Hamilton Police budget. This is an in-person presentation.